here with Claire Weber and Frances Pollock, and we are going to chat about their upcoming concert. Go!
But the Schumann, I think, is interesting because it's actually a male poet and a male composer speaking about the life of a woman going through falling in love and getting married and having a kid, and then unfortunately losing that man that she had fallen in love with. And a lot of the criticism comes from the feminist aspect that it's presented as if the life of that woman starts as soon as she meets and falls in love with this man, and then ends as soon as he dies. Which is really interesting, and it's definitely a point of view to be considered, but I'm not sure that's what either of them was really going for. I think it's just telling the story of a love affair from the beginning to its end.
Not necessarily the whole life or the most important life of the woman, female character.
Right, and it's interesting too because the poet didn't end the cycle the way that Schumann decides to. He ends it with this woman who we've experienced and met through the poetry, speaking to her grandchild and bouncing her grandchild on her knee and talking to the grandchild about her love affair and this man that she loved and lost, unfortunately. But it's still a very happy, optimistic outlook, and obviously her life has continued past the man, whereas Schumann was like, no, I'm going to make her be singing this to her kid and be completely desolate and remembering the good times of her life and realizing that they're gone, which I think is very interesting as well.
It's so fascinating the way that you talk about the perspective, different people's interpretations of that iconic song cycle. Because like you said, it could very much be interpreted as this is a snapshot of a period of time in a woman's life. But I mean, let's be real, there's an assumption that there is a path that women have to at least kind of trace along that do include finding stability in a financial support, who will eventually want to procreate and carry on their lineage, and that the woman will be the responsible caregiver for those new human beings.
Right.
Thus making her identity her duties to her partner and to their children.
Right.
Which doesn't leave, in my opinion, a whole lot of room for herself.
Right.
And I think it's very interesting that you're starting off the program that way.
Well, and it's interesting too, like what's not really discussed about the Schumann cycle, because it's criticized all the time for being anti-feminist, is that Schumann was actually going through a really rough period as well. He was petitioning and begging and bribing and pleading with Clara Schumann's father for her hand in marriage. And it was a really terrible time because they were basically going to court over all of this. I think it should be at least mentioned. But the poor guy's having a terrible time.
Right, well, and the other thing is that these conversations, like these pieces by men, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, should not be shut down. Right, because it is a conversation, and men should be given the space to explore these topics as well. At the end of the day, this is all about a conversation.
Right. Right, and the Schumann piece is a wonderful encapsulation of all of these feelings that a woman or a man, anyone falling in love, might go through. It gets specific to a woman when she's telling him that she's pregnant and she's going to have a baby, and then when she's singing to her baby. But yeah, I mean, these are all elements of life that
just the human experience.
Yeah, that do happen. So I don't necessarily think that it's anti-feminist in any way, but it certainly is a conversation point and a conversation starter. Like why, I think that women as well as men would question, okay, why are people so angry at this cycle and why isn't it performed as much anymore? And it's largely because of the hype that it's anti-feminist. But there are some beautiful moments, and they capture these beautiful times of falling in love, and
It's beautiful to find those moments of humanity in music.
Yeah, and I think almost more important for us to recognize all of this background about pieces like this that might be problematic for whatever reason, and instead of erasing them from the canon to discuss them, but still have it, you know, be performed if it has performance value, but it's more about the discussion that surrounds the piece.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like opening a window.
Mhm.
Okay, let's look at this, let's have a discussion.
Yeah.
Well, Claire and Frances, thank you for joining us and having coffee table discussion.
Absolutely. And we'll hope to see you on Saturday, May 21st at 7:30 p.m. at the Baltimore War Memorial. Tickets are available at wmaibaltimore.org. And you can find out more information on my website, clairegallowayweber.com. We look forward to seeing you then.